Welcome to Shaq's house. That's our Shaq. You're now in Shaq's house. Welcome to Shaq's house.
What's up, Shaq Housers? How y'all doing? It's your boy Shaq House here. Hope y'all enjoying this beautiful morning right now. Yeah, now we got the dumbest mutant powers, number 7. Yeah, that's right, number 7. And this is gonna be the last one I'm doing for a while now too. Yeah, see, I got other mutant power specials I want to show you guys. And as for She-Hulk, I'm gonna do a recap of the remaining episodes once the season is over. Yeah, it's just tedious to do a recap of just a short 30-minute episode every week now. So I'm gonna condense it once I get the chance. Yeah, so sit back today, enjoy the dumbest mutant powers Marvel's ever come out with. Part 7 by Shaq House. Enjoy.
Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George's mutation is that he has a body made entirely out of a viscous material resembling oil or tar. He maintains a humanoid shape out of habit, but he can reform himself into any shape he chooses to at will. His fingers or arms can stretch more than 5 times their normal length, and he can wrap his body around an opponent to restrain or suffocate them, expand himself to cover over a large area, and withstand tremendous amounts of harm since most physical impacts are just absorbed into his oozing mass. Even if something does manage to damage him, he has been broken into more than a dozen pieces and then simply fused himself back together afterwards. He was one of Mr. Sinister's nasty boys, and therefore a Peter David creation. He appeared more prominently in the X-Men cartoon, the 90s Fox X-Men cartoon, than he ever did in the comics, and he was definitely born out of humor. And to steal a quote from the cartoon, the guy's a walking tar pit. He's sticky, slimy, has a British accent, and has no regular form. Alcohol affects his power too. He once remarked that he could no longer remember how long his arms were supposed to be after having just 3 beers. Yeah, I would not want to be a guy who's basically a walking tar pit. That's a dumb power. Next! Aljun. Aljun's mutant power was a form of self-replication. You see, the human body constantly sheds hair and skin flakes during the day, tiny bits cast off from a person. In Aljun's case, his sheddings underwent rapid cellular growth and regeneration after it left his person, growing into full-size proto-clones. These copies appeared naked and almost zombie-like, possessing very little self-direction and largely dependent on the real Aljun to command them. They possessed extremely short lifespans, quickly degrading into biological compost in a matter of minutes, but new copies were always being generated even as the old ones died off. Although not every cast-off became a full-grown duplicate, as that would be literally hundreds of thousands of copies, enough formed so that Aljun was constantly surrounded with 2 to 6 copies of himself, available to fight his battles for him. He was a Chinese mutant soldier who was made the jailer of a dangerous mutant only after his own mutant nature manifested itself. Grant Morrison, he had fun with this one-shot creation. He's his own best friend, however transitory and quickly replaceable. But in the end, he had no real place in the superpower food chain. Anything he shed off of his body took a literal life of its own. Fellow Chinese mutant, or mutants, the collective man, had a more useful and less gross self-replicating power, and so did Jamie Madrox. Next! The Beak. The Beak possesses an avian-like mutation which grants him numerous bird-like features and abilities. He has pneumatic but durable bones, extensions of his respiratory system, that enable him enhanced aerial agility, a beaked nose, beady eyes with enhanced eyesight, particularly both night and distance vision, a body covered in feathers, finger talons sharp enough to rend flesh, and feathered wings that fold up along his arms and allow limited ability to glide, but not mastered or controlled flight. His endurance appears to be enhanced as well, as he has fallen several stories, whereas a fall from such a height would have severely injured a normal, ordinary human. His ribs are fused to his vertebrae to enhance the strength of his flying muscles. Okay, he's originally from the Netherlands, but he had an angsty post-grunge teenage vibe about him during his earlier appearances. But that's what made him a fun and relatable character. However, his mutation sucks. This is what Archangel Warren Worthington III what he would have turned into if his mutation went all the way into becoming bird-like. But at least Warren can fly. The Beak, he can barely glide. He couldn't even truly fly until he lost his powers, became human, and needed a suit to do it for him. I mean, what the hell is any good of having a bird mutation if you can't even fly? Next, the Peacemonger. The Peacemonger possesses the mutant ability to detect the negative empathic energy inherent in the hate of other people around him. He can detect that emotional energy mentally and apparently physically, and then pinpoint its location and the amount there is. He can then absorb that energy into his body, directing it to his muscles, causing them to swell and increase his strength, endurance, and durability to superhuman levels. The Peacemonger has been shown to also increase his size, stature, and mental instability when empowered. There is no established limit for his strength, though he has been shown to be strong enough to penetrate steel walls, bend metals, and easily rend human bone. However, without any hatred to siphon, the Peacemonger possesses only the size and strength of a regular person of his age and build. Absorbing negative psychic energy may have also had a rejuvenation effect on him. In his second and final recorded appearance, he had the appearance and vitality of a much younger man in both his superhuman and regular forms. Yeah, he was a civil rights activist and a dead ringer for Al Sharpton, but he was secretly a mutant. Yeah, he liked to stir the pot, feeding off of people's hatred to further his goals. Basically, when dudes around him be hating, my boy gets swole. But much like internet social justice warriors, he loses all power when confronted with rational discourse and a nuanced critique. He's only as strong and irrational as the hatred around him. Take that away from him, and he shrinks right back down to size. Yeah, strength depending on hatred. Fuck that. Next! Choir. Choir is a mutant who possesses at least 4 mouths scattered over the surface of her neck. Each mouth is comprised of the vestibule and the oral cavity proper and contains lips, teeth, tongue, salivary glands, all connected to a superhumanly enhanced lungs, throat, and vocal tract. Her mutant power is to manipulate her voice in abnormal ways. She can create multiple sounds with different melodies and sonic signatures, resembling multiple voices appearing from different locations. She has also demonstrated the ability to harmonize, creating a series of several voices that should be impossible for a normal human's voice box to produce, and can do so while maintaining a conversation using her main mouth. Okay, she's got several mouths on her neck, so there's several choices on where to plant a kiss or leave a hickey. So she's got multitasking capabilities too. Since her mouths can work independently from one another, she can eat, talk, and give a blowjob all at once. She can throw her voice around like a ventriloquist, throw it all around the room, like Gabbo from The Simpsons. Come to think of it, this power isn't all that dumb, it just looks that way. Yeah, it just looks dumb. Okay, kids, that's what I got for you today. Tune in next week. Next week, we will not be looking at any dumb mutant powers, but I will be schooling you on mutant powers that you probably never even heard of. Check in then, Shackhousers. Peace.
Mansion, apartment.
Shack house. Yes!
Yeah.